It's Friday, end of the month. Your phone buzzes on the desk. The screen lights up with that cool blue glow. A notification from your bank app, direct deposit received. For a split second, you feel relief, a warmth in your chest. You exhale the breath you've been holding for 3 days. The money is there. You can survive. But then, you open the app. You mentally subtract the rent, the student loan payment, the credit card bill, the car insurance, the groceries, and that warmth is instantly replaced by a heavy sinking feeling in your stomach. The number on the screen looks the same as it did a year ago, maybe even a little higher. Maybe you got that generous raise back in January. But why does that money last exactly 1 week less than it used to? You're standing in the grocery store, staring at the price of eggs or coffee, and one thought loops in your head. I'm working just as hard. I haven't become lazier. I haven't become dumber. So why am I getting poorer? Most people push this thought away. They think, well, the economy is rough right now. They tighten their belts, cancel a subscription, hunt for coupons, and wait for better times. But here's the harsh truth that no one is going to tell you at the Monday morning all-hands meeting. Better times aren't coming by themselves. What is happening to your bank account isn't an accident. It's not just inflation or bad luck. It is the direct result of a system designed to extract the maximum amount of labor from you for the minimum amount of capital. This system is running right now while you listen to this. It consists of invisible traps built into your employment contract, into corporate culture, and, most dangerously, into your own psychology. My name is Mike. And today, we're not talking about manifesting abundance. We are going to crack open the mechanism that keeps you in a financial coma. We are going to dismantle the traps of the 9-to-5. And if you recognize yourself in these descriptions, don't panic. That's just the first step to breaking out. Let's start with the foundation, the math that is rigged against you. Trap 1, the inflation illusion. The first trap is the illusion of stability. In corporate America, we are taught that loyalty is a virtue. Stay the course, climb the ladder. If you work hard, the company will notice, appreciate you, and reward you. This is a fairy tale. In modern capitalism, believing this is financially fatal. Imagine you're a mid-level manager. You make $80,000 a year. You have a great year. You hit all your KPIs. Your boss shakes your hand and solemnly announces, "We value you. This year, we're giving you a 3% merit increase." You're happy. 3% is better than nothing. You feel like a winner. But let's look at the real numbers. The official CPI, Consumer Price Index, might say one thing. But you have a personal inflation rate. Rent, healthcare, food, gas, the things you actually spend money on, have likely gone up by way more than 3%. In many cities, the real cost of living has jumped 15 to 20% in the last couple of years. If your salary went up by 3%, but your life got 15% more expensive, the math is simple. You didn't get a raise, you took a 12% pay cut. Effectively, your employer said, "Listen, you're more experienced now, you know our system's better, you work faster, but we've decided to pay you less food and less housing for the same amount of work." And you agreed. You nodded, said, "Thank you," and went back to your cubicle. This is the boiling frog effect. If they took $10,000 out of your pocket all at once, you'd riot. You'd be on LinkedIn applying for jobs that same night. But when it happens slowly, through the price of milk and rent, you don't blame the employer. You blame the economy. Employers know this. To the company, you are a line item on an Excel sheet. You are an expense. Any good manager tries to minimize expenses. If you continue to work effectively while getting paid de facto less every year, you are the perfect asset. You are a self-depreciating resource. But the scariest part of this trap isn't the money, it's the signal you send. By accepting a raise that is lower than real inflation, you are telling your management, "I am captive, I'm not going anywhere, I am afraid of the market," and the moment they pick up on that signal, the trap snaps shut. They know they don't have to buy you again, they already own you. But that was just the warm-up. Because while you're celebrating your 3%, something very interesting is happening at the desk next to you. Right now, a new hire is onboarding. They know nothing about the company, you have to train them, and they will make mistakes. But their starting salary is already 20% higher than yours. Trap 2. The loyalty tax. Does that sound insane? It's not. It's called the loyalty tax. Picture this. Your department hires a new guy. Let's call him Steve. Steve is a nice guy, but he's clueless. You, the veteran, take him under your wing. You show him how the software works, where the files are, how not to piss off accounting. You invest your time in him, and then one day, maybe at happy hour, a number slips out. You find out what Steve's offer letter looked like, and the floor drops out from under you. It turns out this green rookie, who you are teaching how to do his job, is making $15,000 more than you, the person holding the department together. First comes shock, then resentment. You go to your boss, you say, "This isn't fair. I've been here 3 years. I know everything." And your boss gives you the sad eyes, throws up his hands, and says something about salary bands, budget constraints, and let's revisit this at your annual review. You feel personally insulted. But emotions are useless here. This is cold, hard accounting. Here is the secret. In almost every major company, there are 2 completely different wallets. 2 different budgets. Wallet number 1, the retention budget. This is for your annual raises. It is always tiny, usually 3%. CFOs hate increasing this budget because it inflates fixed costs permanently. Wallet number 2, the hiring budget. And this is where the rules change. This budget is dictated by the fierce open market. When a company needs a new body, they have to pay what that person costs today. Not 3 years ago when they hired you. Today. If market rates for your role went up 25% since you started, the company will grit its teeth and pay that 25% to the new guy. Otherwise, no one will accept the offer. But you? You're already in the seat. Your market value went up, but your salary stayed in the past. The difference between what you make and what you would make if you were hired today, that is the tax you pay out of your own pocket for the comfort of not changing jobs. Think about that. You are paying your employer for the privilege of working there. It works exactly like cable companies or streaming services. Have you noticed? The best deals, the promo rates, the sign-up bonuses, they always go to new customers. Loyal customers just get price hikes. Why? Because the data shows that switching providers is a hassle. It's annoying. You're lazy. You'll pay the extra $10 to avoid the headache. Employment is the same, but the stakes are thousands of times higher. Changing jobs is scary. You have to update your resume, interview, deal with rejection. Employers monetize that fear. They monetize your inertia. The statistics are brutal. Employees who switch jobs every 2-3 years earn, on average, 50% more over their lifetime than those who stay at one company for 10 years. 50%. That is the difference between retiring at 60 and working until you die, just by changing chairs. In the US, we suffer from grade point average syndrome. We were taught in school, sit still, do your work, and the teacher will give you an A. We carry this into the office. We think, if I'm loyal, the company will reward my dedication. No, the company will reward your cheapness. Sure, there are exceptions. There are companies that do market adjustments for existing staff, but they are rare. In 9 out of 10 cases, the only way to get a market rate salary at your current job is to walk into your boss's office with a resignation letter and a competing offer in your hand. Only then does the budget magically appear. Suddenly, "we have no money" turns into "we found some reserves." But should you even stay at that point? The trust is gone. You're marked as a flight risk. Why do we tolerate this? Why don't we leave the moment we realize we're being underpaid? Because companies use more than just financial traps. They use psychological warfare. Trap 3. The "we are a family." Gaslight. They substitute a legal employment contract with a psychological one. They use a phrase that you should run from as fast as you can. We aren't just co-workers here. We are a family. You're sitting in a conference room. The CEO is pacing back and forth, talking about challenging quarters and grinding. And then he drops the F-bomb. Family. In that moment, your danger sense should be screaming. Because "we are a family" is the most sophisticated form of manipulation in corporate America. Why do they use this metaphor? It's not out of love. It's business. In a market relationship, it's simple. I sell you my time and skills, you give me money. Period. If you want more of my time, you give me more money. That is a fair trade. But in a family, asking for money is transactional and rude. You don't ask your dad for cash to help take out the trash. You don't charge your brother an hourly rate to help him move a couch. In a family, you help for free. You sacrifice. You do what it takes. By calling the workforce a family, the employer is trying to hack your brain. They are trying to replace commercial rules with social rules. Once you accept this frame, you are trapped. Now, when they ask you to stay until 8 p.m. to finish a project without overtime pay, refusing isn't protecting your labor rights. It's betrayal. It's letting the team down. Guilt is a powerful weapon, and you stay. You finish the deck at 9 p.m. while your dad, the CEO, drives home in a car purchased with the money he saved on your unpaid overtime. Let's be real. This isn't a family. These are hostages with Stockholm Syndrome. Here is the reality test. Imagine your grandmother gets sick and becomes less efficient. She cooks slower. She forgets birthdays. What does a real family do? They take care of her. They help her. What does a corporate family do if your efficiency drops due to burnout or illness? They put you on a PIP, a performance improvement plan. They give you a cardboard box. They cut your access to Slack before you've even left the building. In an at-will employment state, they fire you on a Tuesday morning via Zoom. The family instantly turns back into a Delaware C Corp with strict liability policies. This love only flows one way, from you to the company. I've seen people destroyed by this trap. They skip vacations. They answer emails on Christmas. They think, the company needs me. The company does not need you. It needs the function you perform. If you drop dead today, the job posting for your position would be online before your obituary. You need to separate these things. You have a real family. Your partner, your kids, your parents, your dog. They are waiting for you at home. They love you regardless of your Q3 results. And that is exactly who you are stealing time from when you agree to play family at work for free. Being a professional means being cynical about your time. You are there to generate revenue for your actual family, not to help your boss buy a second vacation home by exploiting your sense of duty. Once you stop falling for team spirit and start treating work as a B2B contract, you stop working for free. And suddenly, your hourly rate goes up. But once you free up those evening hours, you run into another problem. You realize that even during work hours, you are doing things that add zero value to your bank account. You are just making noise. Trap 4. The busy work trap. Presenteeism. Look around your office. Who is considered the hardest worker? Usually, it's the guy who is always busy. He's typing furiously. He's running down the hallway. He sends emails at 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. He looks tired, stressed, and heroic. In our hustle culture, this image is sacred. We respect suffering. If you aren't tired, you aren't working. If you leave at 5 p.m. looking fresh and happy, people whisper, slacker, quiet quitter. So you start playing the game. You fill your calendar with meetings where nothing gets decided. You reply to emails that could have been ignored. You format spreadsheets to look pretty. You create the appearance of incredible busyness. This is the busy work trap, or, as it's often called, presenteeism, and it is lethal to your income. The problem is that you are confusing motion with progress and activity with productivity. You think that if you burn a lot of calories, the company will notice and pay you. But let's be honest, the market doesn't care how hard you try. The market doesn't care about your effort. The market only cares about impact. Imagine 2 employees. First is Alex. Alex works 10 hours a day. He's the go-to guy. He fixes the printer, orders the lunch, helps the interns, answers every Slack message within 30 seconds. He is indispensable for the trivial stuff. His salary is $60K, and it hasn't moved in years. Second is David. David comes in at 9:30, leaves at 4:30. He takes long lunches. Sometimes you can't find him. But once a quarter, David closes a deal that brings in $500K. Or he automates a process that saves the company $1 million. David makes $200K plus bonuses. Alex hates David. He thinks David is lazy. But from a business perspective, David is an asset-generating ROI. Alex is an operational expense, maintenance staff keeping the lights on. The busy work trap is dangerous because it feels safe. When you are buried in tasks, you don't have time to ask the scary questions. Is what I'm doing actually valuable? Does this task get me closer to a higher income? You hide in the routine. Answering 50 emails is easy. Your brain is on autopilot. Pitching a new initiative or asking for a raise is terrifying. Busy work is a psychological defense mechanism. But here's the brutal truth. The more you engage in low-level operational work, the cheaper your time becomes. You are devaluing yourself. You are showing management. Look, I am willing to do the work of an admin assistant for the salary of a manager, and they will happily accept that deal. People who break the salary ceiling operate differently. They are ruthless with their time, they delegate, automate, or simply ignore work that doesn't move the needle. They focus on the 20% of work that generates 80% of the revenue. Stop trying to be the busiest. Try to be the most expensive. Stop wearing your burnout like a badge of honor. It's not heroic. It's a sign that you don't know how to prioritize or you are doing work beneath your pay grade. But to start solving expensive problems, you have to stop being afraid. You have to be willing to market yourself. And here we hit a massive barrier. The fear of the resume gap, the fear of being a job hopper. Trap 5. The job hopper stigma. Decades ago, our parents worked for one company for 30 years. They got a gold watch at retirement. A resume with too many jobs was a red flag. It meant you were unstable, unreliable, a job hopper. This fear is baked into us. We stay in bad jobs because we think, how will this look on my LinkedIn? They'll think I can't commit. And while you are worrying about your resume aesthetics, you are ruining your financial future. Because in 2025, the strategy of sit tight and wait is the fastest path to poverty. We already looked at the math. Staying put gets you 3%, moving gets you 20%. Think about it. To get a 20% raise internally, you have to perform a miracle. You have to launch a successful product, survive a round of layoffs, and pray the budget is there. To get 20% externally, you just need to pass 3 Zoom interviews. Why? When you work inside, your salary is anchored to your history. We hired him at 50K. We can't just jump him to 90K. It breaks their internal logic. When you come from the outside, you have no history. You are a blank slate. You are a market asset. The company is forced to compete for you. Recruiters and HR directors know this secret, but they will never tell you. A candidate who changes jobs every 2 to 3 years doesn't look like a flake anymore. They look like a high performer who pursues growth. They look like someone who is in demand. Of course, I'm not saying change jobs every 6 months. If your resume looks like a CVS receipt of 3-month stints, that's a red flag. It says you can't pass probation or you're toxic. But there is a golden ratio. It's 2 to 3 years. Year 1, you learn. Year 2, you perform at peak level. Year 3, you plateau. That is the moment exactly at the 3-year mark when you need to test the market. You don't have to quit. Just toggle that open to work setting on LinkedIn to recruiters only. Take a few calls, see what the number is. You will likely be shocked. You will find out that your skills are trading on the open market for 40% more than your work family is paying you. Job hopping is the only legal way to reset your value to the current market rate. It's like refinancing a house. You wouldn't pay 2010 interest rates in a 2025 market if you could get a better deal. Why are you selling your labor at 2019 prices? Stop fearing the label. In the modern world, job hopper just means market-savvy professional. But to test the market, you need to know what you're worth. And in the US, we have a massive cultural taboo around this. We don't talk about money. Trap 6. The salary taboo. In our culture, asking a coworker, "How much do you make?" is considered rude. It's invasive. Companies even discourage it, implying it's against policy, even though in the US, under the National Labor Relations Act, discussing pay is actually a legally protected right. They tell us, polite people don't discuss money. Who benefits from this silence? You? No. The silence only benefits the person writing the checks. Information asymmetry is their best friend. Imagine selling a house but having no access to Zillow or Redfin. You don't know what the neighbor sold for. A guy in a suit offers you $200K. You think, wow, that's a lot of money. You shake hands. Later, you find out identical houses on your block are selling for $500K. You'd feel like an idiot. You lost $300K because of a lack of information. On the job market, you do this every day. You sell your most valuable asset, your time, without knowing its ticker price. HR has the data. They have the salary bands. They subscribe to expensive compensation surveys. They know exactly that a senior analyst is worth between $110K and $140K. When they offer you $110K and you accept because you were making $90K before, they win. You leave $30K a year on the table because you were too polite to ask. This is trap number 6. Companies love secrecy. They don't want Bob to know that Alice, who spends half the day on TikTok, makes 30% more just because she negotiated better. If Bob knew, he'd riot. So what do? You break the taboo. You have to become a spy for your own bank account. Stop guessing. Go on Glassdoor, go on Levels.fyi, go on Blind. Look at the specific numbers for your role in your city. Many people are afraid to update their resume while employed. What if my boss sees it? This fear paralyzes you. This is a mistake. Your resume should always be live. You should interview at least once or twice a year, even if you love your job. Why? To get a free market appraisal. An interview is the only place where someone will tell you the real number. If you get an offer that is 50% higher, you don't have to take it. But now you have a weapon. Now you have leverage. You cannot negotiate if you don't know your price. When you go to ask for a raise and the boss says, there's no budget, you have two options. Option A, ignorance. You look at your shoes, say, okay, I understand, and go back to work, feeling small. Option B, knowledge. You say, I understand the budget is tight. However, I've analyzed the market. Professionals with my output and experience are commanding $130K right now. I'm receiving recruiter calls at that level. I love this company, but I cannot ignore that I'm operating at a 40% discount. Let's make a plan to bridge that gap. See the difference? One is begging. The other is a business transaction based on data. But knowing your price is half the battle. You still have to open your mouth and ask, and this is where most people freeze. Trap 7. Negotiation paralysis. We are taught to be grateful for having a job. Don't rock the boat. Trap 7 is the fear of asking. Most people treat a salary negotiation like they are asking for charity. Their palms sweat, their voice cracks. They start with apologies. Sorry to bother you. And worst of all, they use the wrong arguments. Here is how most people ask for a raise. I have a mortgage. My rent went up. I have student loans. I've been here 3 years. Do you know what the employer hears? They hear your personal problems. Business does not care about your personal problems. Business buys results. Your mortgage is not a justification for increasing the company's operational expenses. It sounds harsh, but it's true. This is why these conversations fail. We hear you, but times are tough. The way out is to flip the script. You are not a beggar. You are a business unit selling services to another business unit. Negotiations must be built on one foundation: value, ROI. You don't ask a grocery store cashier, why is milk expensive? Does the cow have a mortgage? No, the price is the price based on supply and demand. Be the milk. The right conversation sounds like this. In the last 12 months, I took over 2 legacy projects. By streamlining the process, I saved the department 20 hours a week, which equates to $50,000 in annual savings. Based on this increased impact and current market rates for this level of output, I'd like to adjust my compensation to reflect that value. Facts, numbers, results, no emotions, not I need, but I am worth. And one more thing. Timing. Most people ask for a raise in December. This is a fatal error. By December, the budget for next year is already locked. It's signed by the board. Your boss isn't lying when he says, "My hands are tied." Professionals plant the seeds in September or October, before the budget is finalized. That's when you make your case, so your raise gets baked into the spreadsheet for next year. Trap 8. The golden screw, niche specialization. There is a career dream to become indispensable. To be the only one who knows how the old server works, the only one who understands the legacy code written in 1998. You feel like a king. Without you, the place crumbles. Job security, right? Wrong. This is the golden screw trap. If you are indispensable in your current role, you cannot be promoted. Your boss looks at you and thinks, if I promote him to director, who is going to maintain that ancient database? I'll never find another person willing to do that. So you stay put, and they hire a director from the outside. Your uniqueness has nailed you to the floor. Even worse, you are building specific human capital. You are learning skills that are only useful to this specific company. If they go bankrupt tomorrow, is expert in Company X's proprietary bug tracking system a skill you can sell to Google? No, it's worthless. Smart career builders focus on transferable skills, sales, project management, PMP, Python, SQL, public speaking. These are currencies accepted everywhere. Audit your day. How much time are you spending solving problems that only exist at this one company? If the answer is all day, you are in the danger zone. To grow, you actually have to make yourself replaceable. Document your processes, automate your tasks, train a junior. Then you can go to your boss and say, I've built a system that runs itself. Now I'm ready for the next level. Trap 9. The hidden job market. We hate the idea of, it's not what you know, it's who you know. It feels unfair. We want to believe that if we just apply online, the best candidate wins. Trap 9 is relying on job boards. Here is a secret from the recruiting world. The best jobs, the ones with the high salaries and equity, often never hit the public job boards, or if they do, they are already promised to someone else. It's called the hidden job market. Hiring a stranger is a risk. What if they are crazy? What if they lie? A referral from a trusted employee is a safety guarantee. That's why companies pay referral bonuses. If you are only applying via Easy Apply on LinkedIn, you are fighting for scraps. You are competing with 500 other people. Your salary is directly proportional to the number of people who would pick up the phone if you called them today. You need to build a network before you need a job. Go to industry meetups. Engage on LinkedIn. Don't be the person who only reaches out when they are desperate. Be the person who adds value. Conclusion: the Me Inc. mindset. We have spent almost an hour breaking down the mechanisms that keep you underpaid. You know about the loyalty tax. You know family is a lie. You know silence costs you millions. But there is a risk that tomorrow morning you will wake up, drink your coffee, drive to that same office and do the exact same thing. You'll say, Mike is right, but now isn't the time. I'll wait. This is the final trap. Learned helplessness. We are waiting for a savior, waiting for the boss to notice, waiting for the government to fix the economy. No one is coming to save you. The only way out is to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like a business. You are not an employee. You are a business called Me Inc. You have one product, your time and skill. You currently have one client, your employer. If a business has a client that pays below market rates, pays late via inflation, and demands free extras, what does that business do? It doesn't cry. It fires the client and finds a better one. You are the CEO of your own life. Stop asking for permission to live better. You don't need permission to learn a new skill. You don't need permission to interview with a competitor. The 9-to-5 system is built on your fear. But look at it this way. Isn't it scarier to wake up at 60 and realize you sold your one and only life at a discount price just because you were too polite to ask for market value? The door to the cage isn't locked. You're just in the habit of sitting there. Update your resume today. Send that message. Take the risk. You are worth more. Go get it. Wake up and get to work.